besides just that phrase, there's so many phrases where people are putting, I'm not going to say NYPD, police officers and detectives in certain type of boxes. And usually these boxes are very, stereotype, and it doesn't highlight you guys in the appropriate way, which is going to lead to my follow-up question. We're about to get deep. Are you ready?
I think so.
And like I said, we know you're a detective now. Big money. Big stakes. But as a black officer, and we could put you in different type of boxes. You can say a gay officer. You can say a black officer. Do you feel like a woman, right? Like there's so many boxes we can put you in, which makes you even more like admirable that, you are where you at with with all of these boxes and people trying to put you in these boxes. But as a black officer specifically, there's a lot of people who may say that you are Uncle Tom. Like how can a black person be an officer? Which is weird to me, but this is not for me. This is a question for you. How do you feel about that?
Being seen as an Uncle Tom?
Yeah, the history with the NYPD in the community, shootings, killings, racism, whatever type of stereotypes that people try to make up. We don't have the answers all the time. You may have the answers, but we don't. So how does it feel being a black officer and being a police officer where half the time it feels like the police officers are affecting the black community? So if people come to you and say, how could you have this profession? How can you support this?
How can you lock up your own kind?
Yeah, how can you
snitch or do this or that?
Yeah, so it's like all of these things that, that, again, we're not saying it's factuals that people may try to put on you. How do you deal with that on a daily basis? What would you say to the black community as an officer working in their community?
I mean, it's weird because it's like the community that I serve is predominantly Black and Hispanics. So I deal with the same kind of people, I guess you can say.
That look like you.
They look like me.
Yeah.
And it's helpful. It is helpful. I think it does give me sort of like an advantage, as you can say, right, in dealing with the public.
Because you could talk to somebody from the hood. We grew up in the hood, so you could talk to somebody from the hood, though not in a completely different way, in a way that they understand or you understand, right?
Right. You have this, same lingo. They see that and they're like, oh, all right, she's different. Also, I mean, on the flip side of that too, it's like, I mean, especially given what's going on these days, like law enforcement and so forth, and we're not the most popular people these days. Yeah. It doesn't matter what color skin I am, right? I'm wearing that uniform. And so it's not then the color of my skin doesn't matter anymore. It's what I'm wearing. It's what I represent. It's who I represent. I think that's what I work with or I work against.
Okay, so who do you represent when you go to work? What do you feel like you represent?
I represent the community. I represent the people who look like me. And I try to help people, and that's what I do.
Like law-abiding citizens, you mean?
Law, yeah, and I help victims get justice, and that is my main goal. You know what I mean? That's what I do, and that's what I do, and I put in 10, 12, 14-hour days because I'm working on trying to help these people find justice. You know what I'm saying? Just help these people find the person who robbed them or took their hurt them in some way and so forth. That's what I do.
Do you feel like as a detective now, since you're not wearing that uniform, do people look at you different, or are you able to kind of hide that identity more? Not to say that you want to hide that identity, but because you're more in a detective role, is it different between being on the streets and being a detective?
I think it's different. I feel like it's different. Yeah. Okay. I think
they respect you more?
I think I'm received differently.
Their perception.
I think their perception is different. Yeah. It's different. It is, and I feel it, and I notice and feel the difference because
they see I've been sometimes. On both. They see the uniform.
Yeah, I've worn the uniform, and now I'm doing this, and so I know the difference, and I can see it. I mean, does it bother me? It kind of does. It does bother me. How can
You're still the same person at the end of the day.
Yeah, I'm still the same person. How can I change that? I don't know, honestly. And I think that's what stresses me the most. It's like, how do I change people's perception of what I do and who I am?
Mm-hmm.
So
this is more of a statement. Personally, me growing up, my goal was always to have people in the community that understands the community, right? If you're coming from the suburbs of Long Island, you might not understand the lingo in Brownsville. You might not understand how we walk, how we talk, how we dress, and how we may move. If you're a cop from the Bronx and you're going to become a sheriff in Long Island, you may not understand their community events, how they do things, how things operate there. So it's kind of weird because I always thought like more black officers within our community would be beneficial, because I may do something that may come off real crazy to a person who don't understand the community, and forget color, right? Like, just, do you understand the community? You know, were you a part of that community or community similar? And I always thought maybe that was something that we have to work towards, putting people as much as we can. But we also know, which is another question, like, I know we always want to say putting people of color this, that, and third, but how can we do that when the community is painting people a certain way, and you have people of color who's probably afraid to join the force or afraid to be NYPD? So how do we work as a community? How do we stop these stereotypes? How do we go out and help our community to prevent some of these things that are occurring? Just from from people in the public. What do you
civilian standpoint?
Yeah, civilians. What do you think that we can do to erase some of these stereotypes and give back to community, to promote that you guys are for the people and you're not against us?
I think they just have to have an open dialogue.
And they need to have some grace. I feel like the community needs to have a little bit of grace for them, because...
Well, yeah, but I mean, it's hard. I mean, you're asking a lot of a community that's been, they dealt with, certain situations or certain things for a very long time. It's kind of hard to change that mindset, right?
Yeah.
So, like, how do you switch someone's mindset or their opinions or whatever, especially when they've had negative past experiences, right? So I think maybe if we can just talk a little bit more, you know what I mean? Just be a little bit more, I don't know. I wish I knew the answer. I'm like, I really wish I could sit here and tell you, I think this is what needs to be done, because I really don't know.
Hey, thanks for watching that video. Please hit the like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. We're also available on all audio streaming platforms: Apple, Spotify, Google, iHeartRadio, all the above. We just want to support you. Thank you so much. I'll see you next time.